to work. I don't think as though now the other one is still live, and I don't know how to like unlive that one because I was streaming from my phone and it's like not working now. So I just really cannot stress enough. I have no idea what's going on, which means I actually don't know how I'm going to turn off that live stream, and we might have to be live for the rest of time. So that's going what can only describe as really well. Hello everyone, welcome back. So I thought my laptop was charging. Not my laptop, my phone was charging, but it wasn't charging. So that was going really well. I hope we enjoy this angle. Get a new angle going of the dining room, which Louis basically has commandeered as his own office. So I'm very lucky that I get to like kick him out for a bit. Minimal frustrating. If I'm looking down here, my laptop's now down here. Usually I have it just below the live stream. I'm so stupid. I don't understand. Oh god, Josie got herself some vanilla cheesecake and ice cream. Very good choice, I must say. I don't know how I'm going to turn that live stream off. Oh my god, how do I make it stop? How do I make it stop? Everything has gone wrong. It's just one of those kind of days. Oh. Clearly her running hasn't improved my abs at all. I actually don't understand how any of this is going. How do I literally don't know how to stop that live stream, but that live stream might be live forever now. Because my phone died. How do I terminate a live stream? How do I stop it? How do I stop it? How do I stop it? Oh my god, this is really stressful. I actually don't know how to stop. Oh, more options. End. How do I stop it? I actually don't know how to stop it. Oh no. How do I stop this? I don't know how to do this. How do I? How to end the live stream? Well. Shut a laptop off the live stream instead of turning off. Nobody's replied to that one. So, we now have 2 live streams going. I don't know how to turn the other one off. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. It's going absolutely splendid, Emma. It really is, isn't it? Really going very well. Oh dear. It might be that the other live stream just won't save either, so that would be a shame. That's gonna be a shame, isn't it? I honestly thought my laptop was charging my phone, but it wasn't, so and we're just at a new angle, so we'll just enjoy the I was gonna go with mediocrity. I meant multiplicity, but I guess that's the right word as well at this point, isn't it? Oh dear. Oh dear. Alice got herself a glass of water to stay hydrated. I just gave myself more wine. Who are you? I am Emma. Welcome to my live stream. My 7th live stream today. It's not going very well. Oh, because this is like episode 8, so you'd think I would have had all these problems in the beginning. Not when I'm like 8 episodes deep. Like 8 hours of live streaming deep, but here we are. 2 is better than 1, I guess. Oh dear. What were you talking about? Because we'd had so many like good convos started in the other live stream. Just blame it all on COVID. I will. I think maybe my brain is just turning into absolute soup. What are we talking about? I can't remember what we were talking about now. How do I end that live stream? I'm not live anymore. What do we do? I'm just gonna change that live stream to private. Maybe that'll do something. How to end a live stream? Well, we'll just deal with that later. Are you very political? Not particularly, but I think everyone needs to have political opinions, right? I think that's just how we are. Basically lots of you have been asking, like, yeah, we're talking about Avatar, we're talking about lots of, yeah, I was telling you what I've been watching. Yeah, I watched the Epstein documentaries. They were very good. And I just, you know, I just kept thinking also the Prince Andrew interview. He couldn't have done anything more horrendous than, like, that interview was terrible. And, like, I think the way that they weighted that series, I think they did a very good job in not, like, sensationalizing the, like, pain and cost of the victims. And I think they did a very good job in how they focused on them. Because whenever you make a documentary on anything like this, you always run the risk of, like, capitalizing on people suffering, but it appears as though a lot of them really got to, you know, tell their story and, like, speak their truth, so to speak. Especially when the fact is, like, they still very much, even though he's dead, they still very much deserve, like, their day in court and stuff. So I'd say it was a more, like, empathetic approach, and also just, like, but then you still get, because I know we all want to watch it for, like, slightly sensationalized aspects of it. But I think they did very well in how they weighted it. Especially, well, compared to, like, other, like, crime documentaries, because I think a lot of the time they focus more on the criminal and the acts and whatever, and they don't necessarily deal with the victims very well, or at all. So I think in that aspect they did well. But who knows, maybe a few years down the line we'll have a different opinion as we, like, evolve and change and stuff. Like, especially in the, like, as everything's evolving in the wake of the Me Too movement and stuff. So I think it's interesting, but I think it was a more sensitive and, like, like environment, not environment, but, like, yeah, socially environmentally conscious approach to how these kind of documentaries have been done versus how they've been done in the past. So I watched that. That was interesting. What else did we we watched All the Money in the World because it was on TV. That's the one they reshot every single scene with Kevin Spacey. They just got rid of him and they reshot it with someone else. That was good. I think it's Ripley Scott, isn't it? It's a shame because we watched it on the TV and it would have been something so good to see on a big screen. My mum was happy because she was happy because it was set in Italy. You know, one of the Getty heiresses is, like, married to Gigi Gorgeous. Did you guys know that? I found that out and I was like, one of the Getty heiresses married a YouTuber, no less Gigi Gorgeous. I was just like, that blew my mind. That blew my tiny mind. I watched The Shape of Water. I watched Homecoming, like I said. Watching a lot of stuff more recently, and, like, because sometimes I'll go, like, a month without watching a single film, and then I'll have, like, a week where I watch, like, 12. I don't know if anyone else has that, but that happens to me far too much. Also, I watched Selma. I watched The 13th. Watched The Shape of Water. I watched Jessie Nelson's Odd One Out, and I really watched The Notebook. I did actually like The Shape of Water. I think I was put off for a while because of the, like, sort of, like, fantastical aspect of it, but it was really good. It was really good. Oh, and what did I watch? I watched a Black Panther documentary today, called, like, Black Panther, like, Vanguard of the Revolution. That was really good. I think I watched it in part, well, because I don't really know that much about the Black Panthers, and a lot of what Beyonce does is, like, has a lot of reference to, obviously, Black history and stuff, like the Black Power movement. So I just wanted to know more about that. And then, but I wish they talked more about Angela Davis. I thought she was a Black Panther, but apparently not, because she didn't like how like patriarchal they were as an institution, so, or like as a party. So I found this other documentary on Angela Davis, and I really want to watch that. It's called like Angela Davis, Free All Political Prisoners. Yeah, Free Angela and All Political Prisoners. So I'm quite excited to watch that. Thoughts on Marxism? Every time I've had to do Marxist theory, I've hated it. That's about as far as I get on like Marxist theory. Have I watched Birdman? No, I haven't. But that is a similar, that's the same concept as 1917, with a lot of like, it's made to look like there's no cuts. It's a concept called blind cuts, and I think they had to retouch, apparently, with Birdman, almost every single scene, frame they did. Maybe not every single frame, but like every single scene they did, because there's a lot of mirrors, so we had to like digitally retouch almost the entire film to get rid of the camera crew. But then there's a lot of like things, but maybe you don't understand why they do so well on like award circuits and stuff. But often it's just because of the innovations in practical film, the like practical aspects of the filmmaking that you as an audience member may not like appreciate as much, like when you're like industry and you're like, well, that's like a technical feat. What's your taste in music, favourite songs, ATM? I've basically let you guys see my Spotify. So if you want, I'm sarcastic_fish on Spotify. You can go stalk my playlists. I made some banging themed playlists. That's kind of what I've been doing a lot in lockdown. Is yeah, her book, Angela Davis's book, Class Analysis with Women, Race and Class. Yeah, I really want to read her book on that actually. That's on my like to read sort of playlist. My Goodreads, it's on there. I mean, a BAME bookshelf. Have I ever read 120 Days of Sodom? I'm thinking about cracking it open and I'm expecting horrid things. I've never read it. I did finally finish Justine. It took me about a year to read that. Sad as always about testing extremes. Yeah, it's not gonna be, it's not, I don't know, I feel like it's really not that bad, but maybe like a lot of what he writes, Sad is where you get the word sadism from, so think BDSM, Sad would put in the S in BDSM. Why does this happen to every live stream? Every single one we do, this always happens. I haven't read it. I feel like I need a break from Sad, but then maybe I'll go back to it. But like, it's not necessarily that much worse than like 50 Shades of Grey. Necessarily. But I mean, think about any book that has any kind of torture in it. Like, it's kind of also a thing. I'll read it eventually, but not yet. Have I ever read The Broken Woman by Simone de Beauvoir? I haven't actually. I should get some more Simone de Beauvoir. Slaps me on my head. I read Justine recently and I really can't say I enjoyed it, but it was good. Yeah, I think all of Sad's stuff is like that. I'm not going to be there like going, oh, I enjoyed it so much, I would read it again and I'm going to recommend it to everyone. That's not who Sad is. I accidentally duped you into talking about BDSM. I know do live streams, I have to like tick, is this for children or not? And I always have to be like, no, because I know what's gonna happen. No, Sad is not someone that I'm like, everyone needs to read this, is the most amazing thing ever. That's not what Sad is. Sad is challenging your way of seeing the world, your way of thinking, and Sad is about testing extremes. So Sad always, as I've said like a million and one times, Sad represents a very extreme version of something, but that doesn't mean that all of his ideas are really extreme. Some of his ideas certainly were still extreme for when, you know, he said them and wrote them, but then if you look at them now, they're not that extreme. So that's interesting. Sad is just an interesting case study, and an interesting like a challenged way of seeing the world. And yeah, a lot of what he writes is super messed up, even by modern standards. But just an interesting, like, very interesting person, especially to study. And then especially when he starts talking as like, about like religious, political and social extremes. Because the whole point of Sad is that like, it's very lots of like philosophical digressions about that kind of content, and then the whole point of like testing the extremes and proving the extremes is then like enacted via the like extreme sexual acts. So that's kind of how a way of reading Sard. I think a lot of the time sort of messed up sex stuff is like very much sensationalized, and then that gets the. I'm sure it was Simone de Beauvoir who wrote something called In Defense of Sard. Like Sard is not hated by a lot of the like in feminist theory and stuff. Sard isn't somebody that people hate. Sard often actually advocates for like women's. Okay, this is a kind of confusing way of putting it, but like he's not like necessarily against that to an extent. He just going like really argues against it, but I feel like that kind of means because he sort of sees that it is there. And so the whole thing of like actively oppressing women is that something you should do, because if you don't do that, they will then, you know, become more independent and stuff. I think that's maybe not I don't know if that makes sense, and I could be so totally wrong, but that's how I've sometimes read a lot into it. That's why a lot of his like protagonists are women. I just don't know. He's actually not that like he's not like totally despised by like feminists, so that's quite. I need to read the essay, but I did find it at one point in France. I found it in an English translation, so that's an interesting one. Are you ever planning on writing a book? Absolutely not. That is not my skill set. Not my skill set. Have you ever read The Picture of Dorian Gray? If so, thoughts? I love that book. That is one of the few that like I've studied and then like really enjoyed because we looked at it at school. Things I studied at university I really enjoyed. Books that I was made to study at A-level I really hated. With the exception of Godot. Everything is Godot. I can't unsee it. Every single fucking thing is Godot. But yeah, I have read that and I loved it because I just got to bang on about homoerotic subtext the entire time. And I love the concept of The Picture of Dorian Gray as well. So I think that's really good. And I think it's also influenced by my love of the film League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Maybe should rewatch that. So I think that's influenced by that as well. Hi, love. Just to say, I've started reading the Iliad after your recommendation and I love it. So thanks so much. Any other similar recommendations? That makes my heart so happy. Similar recommendations. I'm just gonna hit you with just Ovid and Virgil's Aeneid and the Odyssey. None of which I have read, but that's probably the closest. Or then you get Pope's on Aeneid, which is like, you know, an 18th century spin on classics. How do you feel about Russian literature? Love it. It's something I read so much before I started A-level. So many of you will know I got halfway through War and Peace. Doing good. Got halfway through War and Peace. I've read some Dostoevsky. I read Notes from Underground. I've read Pushkin, Captain's Daughter. I really like Russian literature. I think it's really good. One thing I think I'm kind of let down by is that we didn't do that much of it. We didn't do that much of it at all at uni, and it wasn't really on offer for us, which is a shame. Which is something like, especially with Complit, that I thought they would do more. But yeah, I really like Russian literature. And I've read. Yeah, did you read any stories of Chekhov? Yeah, I've read Chekhov, a few of his. This is Oxford World Classic Edition, which is just like a collection of short stories. It's called Love and Other Stories, and I've read like 80% of that. Yeah, I really like Russian literature. I'm pretty sure it's Chekhov that's like, you don't put a musket over the fireplace in Act 1 if you're not going to shoot someone with it in Act 3. So yeah, I really highly rate Russian literature actually. Really highly. I studied at uni. I did a degree. I did my undergrad in comparative literature, and I'm currently doing. Thoughts on Voltaire. You all know how much I love Voltaire. Thoughts on Byron. I do love Byron, actually. I love Byron quite a lot. We had to do, I bought a collection, the Oxford World Classic collection of like a lot of his works, the really chunky one. And I like Byron a lot, actually. Also, Byron as like a cultural figure is super interesting because he was basically like a massive like rock star almost. Yeah, rock star sounds super cheesy, but when you study it, you're like, that kind of was like almost like a cult around him. He's really interesting. I do think romantics are interesting. I think I've studied them a lot, so I think I'm also just like done with their shit, but also find them really interesting. Have you gotten any new books since your bookshelf tour? Any good ones? Yes, of course. I did that bookshelf tour core. That in October last year. I've had many an acquisition. I will do 2 videos. I will do everything that I read in lockdown and everything I bought in lockdown. I'm currently reading Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. I'm about halfway through it. And that's more of like from an English perspective, from a British Black history perspective, which I think is super good because I don't know about you guys who grew up in the UK, but like a lot of our like sort of racial education, I guess, was super American. Like we covered, American civil rights history and stuff, but we really don't talk about the British. And the extent for lessons we had was like, it showed us a diagram of a slave ship and then put on Gone with the Wind. Do you see where that kind of falls short? Hugely falls short. And also like, while slavery is obviously a huge part of the, British story of like racism and like black history as far as British black history goes, there's also a huge bit of the colonial history. It's like, when you colonize a country, when you bring it into the Commonwealth, you're gonna have immigration from those countries. When you encourage people in the 60s to, come from the Caribbean, the Windrush generation, when you're like, colonized Nigeria, and like, I was like, yeah, obviously you're gonna have people come from those countries to then settle in the UK. Like, you colonize, you're gonna get immigrant populations. Like, what did you expect? So I think it took, from that book, I've learned a lot about that. It's a lot of things I did vaguely know, but I just didn't know that well. And I think I do know a lot more probably about American civil rights history than I do British. So for those of my English British peeps, I definitely would recommend it. She's a journalist. I think so far the only thing that I wish the book had was maybe more like academic theory and stuff. Well, a flaw with that perspective is obviously that a lot of like a lot of theory on race and stuff is actually white theory. Come from white academics. I think when you start talking about like African dysphoria or like Pan-Africanism and stuff, those are like white ideas and theories. I think, don't quote me on that, but I do think. So if they could use some more like appropriate ones, I think it would have benefited from that. But like, she's a journalist, not an academic, so her style is a little bit more chatty than maybe I'm used to when I'm reading nonfiction. But I certainly think the historical aspect of it is really important. Like, I didn't know about the Notting Hill riots. I didn't know about the Brixton riots. It's like I didn't know, but I didn't like know. Like, I knew of it, but I didn't know actually what happened. I'm quite pleased that I did actually know what happened with the like Bristol bus boycott. So that I did know. I think his name was Guy Bailey, that they refused to hire him because he was black. Because it was an unofficial rule or something. So I do recommend that. And also, like, sort of a line of like performative, like what is and isn't performative activism, and then if you're gonna, do that, you put your money where your mouth is and actually like do the work, and also like, pay the people for the work they've done. A lot of the theories and like concepts though that she's talked about, I have I am slightly familiar with now already because of all the like tweets and like social media that I've consumed about it. So I feel like maybe before the protests in wake of George Floyd's murder, I probably wouldn't have known as much, so maybe more of the book would have been new to me. But I think it's definitely worth reading. And then what else have I read? I read Nancy Mitford's The Pursuit of Love, which is like so cheesy, but it's so enjoyable. And before that I read Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's Half of a Yellow Sun, which is about the Nigerian Biafran sort of civil war that happened in the 60s. Man, I don't know if you guys have read it, it's heavy. Fuck me, it's heavy, oh god. But it was really, really good. I finished it and I cried so much. Like, I cried so much. But I really recommend that if you guys haven't read any of her work before. Yeah, and I just think we need to make a more conscious effort to like decolonialize our bookshelves and stuff, and decolonialize your minds and the concept of like decentering whiteness. And especially if it's something I'm conscious of, because obviously you care about what I read, and I know that I, you know, give you recommendations and stuff, so I want to make sure that I'm not just peddling like very white worldviews and stuff. And the magical thing about a book is that like you can quite literally put yourself in someone else's shoes and see the world as they see it and as they experience it, you know, through a novel, and that's just like it's so cool. So I think you should be very conscious about diversifying your bookshelves, because I realise like a lot of what I read is so white, so yeah. I also think about it, if you like, it does make a difference. Books have always made a difference. Like, think about it. If books and like intellectuals, for example, didn't matter, why is it then that every revolution, the first thing they do is murder all the intellectuals and then burn all the books? If books were not important in changing your mindset and your worldview and educating you, they wouldn't burn them every single time. So defo read, because it can quite frankly make you a better person. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading at the moment. I just finished her chapter on white privilege, so that was very interesting. And I think I just can't understand that people get so defensive. Like, I can't understand how people get really defensive about it. Like, really aggressively defensive about it. Especially when it's like, it's not your fault that you're white, the same way it's not anyone else's fault where the colour they are, and like, why people get so like personally attacked by it. It's like, just don't be defensive, just listen. What to do while waiting for Godot? There are a great many things to do while waiting for Godot. None of them involve actually waiting for Godot. Is that not all what we're doing now, though? Does it not feel like that? It's like you're waiting for like the next like thing, like next bit of freedom, but is it ever gonna come? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Do you have any fiction recommendations by non-white authors? Yeah, read Adichie. When Things Fall Apart is also one of the things that I see so often talked about, and I still haven't read it. Because they're called Adichie as well, but it's not the same Adichie. It might be just Things Fall Apart, and that's meant to be so good. And there is a girl that I recently started watching on YouTube. She does BookTube. That's my bad. But this apparently is meant to be good. Oh, we having technical difficulties again. What a shock. technical difficulties. Why stuck at this point? Is it? Am I back or am I back? It's not telling me if I'm back or not. I'm just gonna be your screensaver for a moment because it can't decide if I'm back or not. Just gonna sit here and drink my wine. I'm just not winning today. Okay, now I'm back. Now I'm back. You down that wine? You weren't supposed to see that. I thought it wasn't working. I thought you weren't supposed to see that. Oh no. I thought it stopped recording. It's not going well. It's not going well. Oh no, I was already crying with laughter earlier because my mum, I was trying to film and my mum has this thing where like, I don't know what is wrong with her. Every time I crack the camera out, she just finds the noisiest thing she can do and just does it. She doesn't mean to do it, but she does. I don't think I'm emotionally recovered from that, to be honest. You really weren't supposed to see me check that. I thought that it had stopped recording. Empty. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Basically I mixed up Vidice and Achebe. But Achebe, Things Fall Apart, is something a book that I've heard mentioned a million times and apparently it's really, really good. So I think it might be one of the next things I buy. But you can tell how much I'm deteriorating during lockdown. It's being that like I've actually read books almost immediately after having purchased them. It's like, what do you mean you're not gonna do the customary marinating period of 1 to 3 years on my bookshelf before I read you? What a concept. Lord. Have you ever read any autobiographies, or what do you think of them? I don't actually think that I have. I don't think I've ever read. I can't think of any off the top of my head autobiography ever. And I think I don't particularly trust people to take an objective view on themselves. I know that I try very much to be objective sometimes with myself, but you're never going to be totally objective with yourself. Obviously any biographer probably wouldn't be, even if they're trying to have one of you, they're evaluating you as a person, but I think you can so not be trusted either way, in terms of you might or super duper like glorify yourself, or even you run the risk of treating yourself too harshly. So I don't think we're necessarily the best judges of our own characters. And like, you can try and be as self-aware as you like, there's always going to be a limit to that. And it's only really one version of events, it's like one version of the truth, so I don't necessarily think the autobiographies are that. yeah, I don't do, and not particularly what I like to read, I guess. I'd rather hear someone else's like account. I might have to refresh my own live stream because I'm streaming here, but I'm not streaming on my laptop. And you really are. What do you think of Emily Dickinson? We've done a couple bit of her work, her poems, but we haven't done much of it, so I unfortunately don't have much I can say about her. Are you into genealogy, family trees? No, I'm not like into it, but we can trace our family tree back. We can go all the way back to the 13th century, and then via a maternal line we can go all the way back to the 8th century. So that's quite cool. And my choice baby name for a girl is related to one of our more prominent-ish family members that we have. There's a painting of her in one of the museums in Antwerp, and I can't remember what it's called now, but there is a painting of her. And it's not exactly the same name, but it's like a version of that name. So that's quite cool. And everything is freezing. And I'm just not getting very far with any of what's happening right now. But this is streaming, so I'm going to try and continue with the comments. Can I see the comments of... Ooh. Can I... Ah, yes. There we go. It took me 8 live streams to figure it out. Usually I can't see the comments that you guys leave on here. It's quite hard. Oh my god, I can scroll through them. Fuck, no way. Oh, I'm so happy that you watched Before Sunrise on my recommendation. That's amazing. I was wondering what kind of jobs, careers comparative lit students often go into. I'm really interested in doing it, but I'm trying to decide between English lit and comparative lit. If you're going to do English or comp lit, you're probably going to do go for the same jobs and stuff. The Wi-Fi is not doing her best. I was just going to say, like, with doing comp lit, while you receive like a similar education to English lit, it is quite different. You sort of learn structurally to do things differently. You're always taught to compare. Almost like you have to see the other side of your argument. You have to see how things relate in context to other things. So I think you'll probably compete for similar jobs to deal with English lit, but so I guess to an extent you could argue that it gives you a hiring advantage over other people because of the fact that it is just a little bit different. I haven't really advertised this, but I did my work experience with MTV. They have it's called the Staying Alive Foundation. So a lot of like really big businesses will have like charity departments to kind of like offset, like almost like MTV is trying to offset all the trashy stuff they make with like the charity that they have. The Staying Alive Foundation is a lot invested in like community programs and projects for those suffering with like HIV/AIDS, like American studies and stuff like that, over doing like English lit or something. Because I remember like mentioning to him at the time that I wanted to do something like comp lit. And his advice was to do comp lit because it just gives you that like slightly different degree to everyone else. Because think about like so many people take English literature, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But like, if you've got like loads of if you've got like identical candidates in front of you, do you want to hire another one that's an English lit, or do you want to hire someone that's done something like slightly differently? Because as well, you're taught differently, and you're taught to see the world differently. So you can just do something that's a little bit more, I guess, interesting or exciting. You can argue that way. We probably go for similar jobs, and obviously I'm biased, so I would argue that it gives you the like slight hiring advantage of it being a little bit of a different degree. I know I'm back, but do you guys know I'm back? Because the Wi-Fi's just being a big bitch. And my other live stream is still live, isn't it? It's not going. They're not going to turn it off eventually when they realise nothing is playing. YouTube, help. How do I like message YouTube to be like, please help, I don't know what's going on anymore, can you turn it off? Ah, my nails are so long that I can't press the button. Show me the chat. Any advice for dealing with anxiety? Depends what kind, because there's so many different kinds of anxiety. I get quite bad anxiety around new situations and like doing things for the first time. I don't have like, I guess, a set social script for. So I guess a lot of it is just also realizing no one is looking at you as much as you think they are. No one is paying attention to you as much as you think they are. And they're probably all wondering the same thing, like, are you looking at them? Where you might be wondering, looking at them going, are they looking at me? They're probably thinking exactly the same thing. And no one is as confident as they pretend they are. Everyone is quite like, think that's important, which is one of the reasons it is so important to talk about it, because I think anxiety is one of those things that feels so isolating. Liverpool did win the league, Paul. They did. My God, Liverpool fans are so... Right, Liverpool fans can be really annoying because of the fact that they always get really close but never get it. So like, for those of you who support Liverpool, honestly, congrats. It's about fucking time. Can you all stop being annoying about it now? But yes, Liverpool did finally win the league after like 30 years. A couple of the guys I know from school supported Liverpool, and they would always just be like, the frustration was like so obvious. Thank you, I'll shut up now. Nah, honestly, I enjoyed the victory. I think Liverpool do deserve it, because for God's sake, it's taken you 30 years. It must be really frustrating getting so close like every single time and just not quite getting it. Everyone who doesn't watch football is like fallen asleep. They kick the ball real good. Yes, John, yes. What was I talking about? Oh God, I've had like 1,000,001 different brain waves. No, I was talking about anxiety. Yeah, I think it's important that more people talk about anxiety and things, because anxiety is one of those things that feels super duper isolating, and like it's just you and like no one else feels that way. I think with anxiety, one of the things people ask me like, oh, what words do you live by? Fake it till you make it. Honestly, honey, fake it till you make it. It can work wonders for you, because if you trick yourself into appearing like you're, you know, dealing with it well, or like confident or having a good time or whatever, you will eventually trick yourself into thinking that too. So you've got everyone else fooled, and you'll fool yourself too. It's magic. How have your dreams been? I remember you were saying they were really vivid during lockdown. Gotten any better? I've had less of them, actually. I've had less of them. Like I have a dream journal on my phone. 10 out of 10 would recommend keeping a dream journal, especially because you can analyze like thematically what you're like dreaming about and stuff. My God, I had such a really not PG dream. And some of these dreams are like shocking in terms of the fact that sometimes you dream and they like it seems really real. So I've had some really not PG dreams lately, and I think it's only because I'm like waking up and then like, because I don't shut my curtains because I don't like it, so I like wake up and then fall asleep again, and then you have those dreams. I haven't had very many dreams, but the dreams I've had have been like shockingly like vivid. Like sometimes you can feel things. It's really weird. Please someone tell me that like they've had like inappropriate dreams but are like almost like shockingly vivid, because sometimes anyway, why does this happen to every live stream? Maybe it's just my personality. My like real life personality comes out and I can't edit it out later. Oh Lord. Back to talking about Liverpool. Oh, come on now. Why do all my questions become 18 plus rated Marquis de Sade now dreams? Honestly, Carlos, I don't know. You tell me. Oh dear. I really just remembered that dream after like saying it, because like I was meant to write it down but then I forgot about it. I've also just like cats have been like reoccurring in my dreams. You guys, I have made like friends of like 3 of the... how much have you drunk? Well, I finished the bottle, but like, I feel unfortunately quite sober still. I've made really good friends who are like 3, maybe I have drank more than I thought, like 3 of the neighbourhood cats. When I go on my run and I get almost into the bit where the suburbs end, there is this one cat. It was on my Instagram story. It's such a beefy boy. It's like a really beefy version of Trevor. It's a beautiful cat. And every time I've run past it, I've not wanted to like stop my run and like ruin my stats. But at one point I was like, screw it. And like I finished my run at like 8k when I was meant to go to 12 because I was just like so done. This was the other day. I was like so done with everything and I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I had a blister and everything hurt and I really needed a wee, so I was like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Because I am mentally really strong. And like stopped, so I like got to I was like pet the cat for a bit. I was like, oh my god, this is cute. I made friends with like 3 of the cats. Somebody made a pussy joke. I could see it. There we go. All these cats fall for inappropriate dreams. Interesting. No. Cheeky. Grim. No, they're not. And always, why are the cats are always biting me in the dreams? But I think that's maybe just because of Trevor as a cat, because she generally like bites, and she does play bite. She means it playfully, but like she doesn't know how to use her words. So there we go. What, and I cannot stress this enough, are any of my live streams. I'm sure pretty much all of my friends will attest that this is just what I'd bite to if I was a female cat called Trevor. My ex named it and then it just stuck and then we realised it was a girl. I got attacked by a car through a letterbox once. I'm assuming you mean in a dream. I hope you mean in a dream. Otherwise, we maybe need to keep Paul in our thoughts at the moment. Cat. Cat through a letterbox, not a car. That. Jesus Christ, how much have I drunk? That would explain the difference. I actually used to do a live stream where I get really drunk. I keep trying to talk Ophelia. Well, no. I mentioned this like twice to her, but I really want to do a video where Ophelia and I just get really drunk and like write each other's Wikipedia page. I feel like that would be quite a lot of fun, but Ophelia decided to do a master's degree for 2 years in the Netherlands. My friends have to leave! But it's fun because the more like Dutch she learns, the more we have like a secret language to talk to with each other in front of everyone else. So I'm really excited when she comes back. If she comes back, it's Ophelia. Who knows? But you know. Somebody said they bought Montagna. Jimmy says he bought the Montagna essays last week. I'm very excited for you. Very excited. They're so good. He's just so Montagna is where he can do no wrong at this point. Favourite YouTubers to watch at the moment. My god. Eve Cornwell can do no wrong. Ashley Best Dressed can do no wrong. I saw she mentioned in a video that like she hooked up with a girl recently, or like pre-lockdown, and I was just like, you can't. Like it honestly didn't shock me or like surprise me at all. I feel like there is a thing of like sort of like my YouTube generation, I guess, like especially of girls who just a bit more gay than everyone else. So that did not surprise me at all. I was kind of like, hopefully a victory for the bisexuals, but who knows. Sexuality is a spectrum, something I very much believe in. Again, Eve Cornwell can do no wrong. There's a bug on the window. Raoul has to go. Goodbye, Raoul. And Natasha Ocean. What? And I cannot stress this enough. A babe. She's almost at 1 million subscribers. So if you guys haven't like watched her channel before, I so recommend. Cannot recommend her enough, to be honest. She does a lot of like fitness stuff and health stuff and like what I eat in a day. But she explains it really well. Like she was doing a PhD at UCL and then realized it wasn't for her and like quit and stuff. But when she talks about videos and she does science explained videos and she really goes into the literature and the scientific literature, and the girl puts the work in and the grind in, and I feel much more like comfortable watching her as like a fitness and health influencer there may be other people who don't have the same kind of credentials. And her body is just like insane. And she's just so funny as well. And like, I have such a soft spot for her, and like especially her boyfriend Mario. Like together, they're just so like, they make me like, they kind of warm and defrost my like stone cold heart at this point. So Natasha Ocean, cannot recommend her enough. Fantastic content. Like, I really recommend her. I haven't watched Marriage Story. I do intend to. I haven't watched it yet. I feel like I'm shy for more like relationship related content, like all across the board. I said, even though I just like really enjoy Natasha's relationship with her boyfriend, which is super cute. Like, I haven't watched, like, it's the reason I never watched Normal People. I will watch it and I will read the book, but I'm just not ready for it. I think like watching Before Sunrise is about as much as I've been able to handle on the relationship front, just because I'm a fucking disaster at the moment. Oh, I'm such a disaster. And I think that's why reading Mitford's The Pursuit of Love like sort of sent me spiraling, was because like the main character Linda goes through several marriages and like finally has like the love of her life, and then it all goes to shit. Greetings from Istanbul. Hello. What time is it in Istanbul? Isn't it like 3 AM for you or something? Very dedicated, I have to say. So yeah, that sent me spiraling. Because like, when you've come out of a relationship that's been like 4.5 years, like, yeah, that is gonna like, I guess, send you spiraling a bit, because like, I keep thinking, if I have a relationship that long again, I will be, what, like 26, 27? I mean, like, if I date someone for that long again, I would very much like marry them and stuff. So I'm like, what if I fuck it up again? Or what if like I choose the wrong person again? Or like, that's me spiraling. And then obviously lockdown has meant that like you can't do anything about it. So it's like, I know in the grand scheme it's not going to matter, but I'm like, I'm just like, it's almost like being terrified of betting on the wrong horse almost. It's like, I don't want to like invest my energy in the wrong person, have like a 6-month relationship that flops, and then be like back to square one, and then be like, have to do that several more times, and then by that point magically I'll suddenly be 28 and then be like, oh funny, I wanted to be married and with my first child by now, and I'm like, oh. So that's like why I'm avoiding like a lot of relationship like films and stuff, because I'm just like, I don't think I can deal with that right now. I'm a role model, clearly. Drink responsibly, kids. So that's why I haven't watched Marriage Story. And then when you're going through a breakup, you don't want to watch something about a breakup. I think the most I could handle was The Notebook, because I knew I was going to cry for like half an hour, and I did, and I cry every single time, and I know what happens, and I still cry my eyes out every single time. The last like half hour of that film was just like a fucking wreck. But yeah. Someone just said something about running, and running is like one of my favourite things to talk about. Ooh, a favourite Disney movie, without a doubt, Beauty and the Beast. I will fight people on that, but absolutely Beauty and the Beast. You know, people are doing like, oh, me versus animated me, so it's me, and then you put Bella here. And I will fight everyone on that, because, come on, 18th century France. Your Emma isn't here?
We have live stream.
I'm having live stream.
Live stream with your friends.
Live stream with you? Do you want to say hello?
No.
Your laptop isn't in here, I think it's in... You know your laptop isn't in here, you just want to come and say hello.
Oh, you never talk to me usually. You never usually talk to me this.
That's usually because I cuss you out. That's usually because I cuss Louis out, so... And I probably shouldn't swear on the internet. Even though I've said many a questionable thing in this live stream already, but you know. Oh dear. Alright, I have comments on here. Vivian says, hi from Brazil. Emma, I just wanted to know that you made me want to go running more. Yes, everyone should go running more. Look, even wearing, if I live this anymore in a flashable, I've even like been pleased because I got to wear my sport. It's a sports crop top, but I do wear it to do sport. I like my active wear, but then being active instead active wear. Therefore, remember, I like your necklace. Thank you. It's all from Anna Louisa. I did a like collab sponsorship thing with them ages ago, and I'm like obsessed with their jewelry. This is not spawned by. I'm like really, their stuff is good. They, you know, they want to keep the cost down, keep it sustainable, and I rate that incredibly highly. This is from them. This is from them. I paid for these, but like, their stuff is really good. Nothing worries me more than being with someone and it not working out and wasting my time, and so in the end I just end up never getting into a relationship. That's kind of, I get you, that's kind of how I feel like right now. It's like worrying about wasting your time. Things that even if a relationship ends, it doesn't necessarily mean it was a waste of time. That's certainly not how I view any of my past relationships, but it's almost like, it's silly, isn't it? That's not how I view any of my past relationships, but I'm so worried that that is how I will view a future relationship. I don't view any of my past relationships that way. I've learned from all of them, absolutely. They're all like decent blokes, but just sometimes it just doesn't work, you know? Pretty much any relationship you go into, you will learn something, and so I don't think they're ever a waste of time. Irrationally, I'm like, I don't want to waste my time with someone. So I have to like suss out certain like, I don't know, aspects and characteristics. Carlos, if you're reading this, you're a vibe. God bless. We all, don't worry, we all feel like that. Carlos, you're a man of the people. You've spoken. We all understand. We all fucking get it. Oh God. Do you have any resources for learning Dutch? I think I'm thinking of trying to learn it. My resource that I recommend is my very dear friend Ophelia there. Woman knows how to do languages and knows how to, you know, do notes for languages and stuff. So I highly recommend Ophelia's channel, and also just because Ophelia is top babe, and I miss her very, very much. Also, Josie loves Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove is actually a classic, but I always identify with what's her name? Christ. Yzma. I always identify with her, or then like with like someone like Cruella de Vil, or like I always identify with characters I'm probably not supposed to identify with, but I very much far too often identify with the villain. Like in Ugly Betty, I am Wilhelmina Slater, or she is who I aspire to be. Anyone else always resonate with a villain, or like in Kim Possible with what's her name, Sheba. If you wanted to be her as a child, you're gay now. I don't make the rules, like. God. Darren says, I'm a very lucky bloke. I got to marry my lady who just gets me. A relationship with the right person is more like a really good friend and makes being in a relationship not hard work and is good. Congratulations, Darren. That's really nice. And I do agree with you. Like, you want to marry your best friend. Absolutely, you want to marry your best friend. And I think when it comes to something like marriage, you should never marry someone wrong lever. You should definitely never marry someone. Okay, but you should never marry someone just because you're in love with them. You should never marry someone that you're not in love with, but you should never marry someone just because you love them. As in, like, you need other layers, like many layers of like how your relationship gels, because you share finances, you're legally entwined with this person, you may have kids, and yeah, you should marry your best friend. Of course you should. So it's like, if you think your relationship could like tackle all of those things, like if you would have a decent relationship as business partners, you know, as administrators, because you have to organize your lives and stuff. So it's like seeing if your relationship works on all of those levels as well. And yeah, predominantly marry your best friend. And I've like started to realise maybe I should not be allowed to like date other fire signs, because I don't know if I like gel. I'm classic Aries, but like I don't know if I gel properly with other fire signs. Because I'm just like such a chaotic person that I need someone that like is not a chaotic person and get the whole like yin and yang thing going, because otherwise like fire and fire is maybe not a good combo. Is in some ways, maybe just not in that sustainable, practical relationship aspect though. But be like Darren. Everybody wants to be more Darren. I'm really worried that I'm gonna burp on a live stream. Oh. Megan says, I've never had a relationship, lol, not even entirely sure how you speak to someone like that. Tinder? I don't know. Gosh. I don't know. Whoop whoop, I'm an Aries too. Represent, Daisy. I honestly, like, I forgot as well. Like, I was in a relationship since I was 16. This is the longest I've been single since I was, like, 15. May have been 14. No, 15. I started dating my first boyfriend at 15. This is the longest I've been single, pretty much, since then. Coming up on 6 months. I was single for a week last year. For a week. How bad is that? Clearly a long wine streams, live streams need alcohol more often. But yeah, I've forgotten how to speak in the context of like, hey, will you date me? I just don't know how to do that anymore. Dating apps are fun though. It's good practice. It doesn't like matter if you ever see or speak to that person again. It's, I guess, a little bit of good practice in terms of like starting just you know, starting a conversation, like getting a bit of this in the mix in terms of like what your intentions are. Question, but did you have an online following before starting YouTube? I'd love to start making videos, but I'm truly going to be speaking into the void, so that's weird to me. No, I have been on YouTube for 7.5 years. My entire social media following is pretty much comes from my YouTube. Like, I wasn't massively popular in school and stuff at all, so I wasn't like one of the girls who like had 2,000 followers on Instagram just because she was hot. And also, social media wasn't as important in the same way as it is now when I started, I guess, or maybe it wasn't like as forefront. No, my entire social media following comes from my YouTube. Very little of it has ever come from like school and stuff. I'm just not your like classic popular school person, which I know some people get followers via. So like, just because you don't have like an existing social like following, definitely don't let that be a reason that you wouldn't make videos. Absolutely not. Don't let that inhibit you. Like, honestly, like, you do you boo, but don't let that be a reason not to. If you have videos that you want to make and like things you want to share, do, absolutely do. And I've always viewed YouTube as a different kind of social media anyway. Like, you can have a whole existence on social, like on YouTube, like that's regardless of your other social media anyway. Wine streams sound awesome. It could be the next new thing. It really, really could. And I've maybe drink half this by myself, but that's not the point we're going for. You should all see with the Jaeger. Jaeger is my drink of choice. Jaeger bombs are my drink of choice if I'm getting that smashed. Ashley in her video was talking about like how all she really wants to do after lockdown is just go out and get absolutely wankered. And I cannot exaggerate how I've ever resonated. Nothing has resonated with me all of lockdown as much as her like talking about that. It's literally her most recent video, but like that hit like nothing else did. I'm just like, a lot of my friends don't like going clubbing anymore, but I'm just like, I really just want to go clubbing. I really want to go clubbing and like just get with a random stranger and then like run away from them and like hide in the smoking area for like half an hour. Oh god. Last time I went out though, I got chatted up in Dutch, in Flemish actually. That was an experience. I think I have mentioned that on live stream, but that was an experience. I don't know if, I'm sure many of you agree that your language skills just improve dramatically the moment you get pissed. Yeah, that's also a great way to talk to people, is just get drunk and go clubbing. Wine stream sounds awesome. I've already said that. Maybe I need to stop my live stream now. Maybe this is the point where I'm like, maybe I need to stop before I see something I regret. Just trying to find other gays is hard, lol, let alone actually someone I like. Oh, what was this thing I saw on Twitter like ages ago, which was like, it was specifically in the context of like gay women and lesbians and bisexuals being like, gay women are like jobs, you either find them online or they come recommended. It was something like that. Oh dear. And also I found, if you're chatting on Tinder, I don't know if you guys can hear these people outside, but definitely 10 out of 10 would add a photo of you with a cat to your profile. And when I've done that, when the girls like slide into your DMs and stuff, is that your cat? Like, theme. But yeah, include a cat on your online dating profile, and that's apparently how to get. Yeah, the joke in my head was pussy is how you get women, but I'm so sorry that I just said that out loud. Right, maybe it's time we end the live stream. Maybe it's time we end the live stream. Do we? I have a cat. Use the cat, Megan. Put a photo of you and your cat on like your Tinder profile and it'll work. Right. It's clear, it's incredibly clear that I need to end this live stream now before I just keep talking. Mark, ik heb geen poes. Everything, and I cannot stress enough about this live stream, has been a disaster. I think I should probably end this now. Do you guys have any burning questions? Anything I've left half said? Please, please, please tell me. To feel like a drunker. Ooh, I just knocked over my wine glass as you said that, so yeah, probably. Do you guys have any closing statements, any burning questions? I'm very aware that I may have frozen. What are your life goals in near future? My only current life goal right now is to get back to London. That's the only thing I have going. But I'm like desiring to do. Apart from maybe living in Paris for a bit, but apparently I do need to see Harry Styles, so we'll have to see about that. Did you struggle in school with making friends? I think you have like at school you have a lot of groups, and once I found my group, I was okay. Then when I started boarding, luckily no, because you live with people, so you always have like a good group. So I guess I'm very lucky in that aspect. But like I've never been like a massively popular person. But I think that's something that I think a lot of people who do YouTube have also struggled with. Like I think a lot of the like classic popular kids only started doing YouTube a lot later than all of us. Because they saw like the kind of success that like initial generation of YouTube had, the ones who came on because started making videos because of the fact that they didn't have that many friends or like were not like conventionally popular and whatnot. I feel like you getting boozy is surely just the beginning of a great live stream. While I agree with you, probably Best I stop now. I have dyslexia too. I cannot learn English, so can you give me advice? Your English seems fine though. Languages are just very difficult. I think you almost need to learn them as a child, like not as a child, but like in the same way that children do, in terms of immersion and not necessarily studying grammar. So just learning it because you've spent time in that linguistic culture. But I am not the best person to ask necessarily because my French is still shit. But I would say watch Ophelia's videos. I'm definitely going to continue. When it comes to languages, I'm always going to tell you to watch Ophelia's videos because she's so much better at that than I am. I miss her. Yes, so any closing statements? Because then I will go and maybe go to bed because my head kind of hurts, but I don't know why. Why do I have a headache all of a sudden? Gosh. This live stream has been a train wreck, hasn't it? It took 7 attempts to get it right, and then my phone died. Shout out to all cats. Abso-fucking-lutely. I do not swear on live streams. Do you think Scotland should leave the UK? Please no. Please don't leave us on our own with the English. Please don't do that to us. We need Gaelic culture to balance out the English. For those of you who don't know, I'm Belgian. Please don't leave Scotland. Then I thought we wouldn't leave the EU, and apparently we did, so that was fun. But I'm drunk too much to talk or think about Brexit, to be honest, because that would just end up in a hugely depressive episode for us all, wouldn't it? Dude, is my mum going to be annoyed that I drank all the wine? Learning Gaelic would be fun. I think it would. That's quite interesting. A very different one. Right. It's bedtime. We've had part 2 of a live stream for almost an hour. Where do you guys see it? You can't see it here, but it's a bit along the bottom of how long I've been on. I've been on for 73 minutes on part 2. So you've had like a good... You've had me on for a good 2 hours. Bloody hell, this makes me speak... I need to clearly incorporate alcohol more. Maybe next time I do Jaeger every time there's a question I don't want to answer. You just shot instead of answering the question. But yes, we'll leave it here. I hope I haven't wasted too much of your time. And I hope you have enjoyed the live stream. When do you think you'll be doing the next live stream? I'm trying to do these every like 6 weeks. I think I've been doing this. It's my 3rd live stream here. It's been 16 weeks. 6, 12, 18. Yeah, it's like every 6 weeks. I'll try and do them more because it is like different to a Q&A because we can have proper... You've managed to do 2 live streams in one day now, that's work ethic. I agree with your framing of the situation and I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I'll try and do them with you guys because I do enjoy them. I think there's also a little bit of anxiety of like, what if nobody turns up? But that's silly. So yeah, I will continue to try and do these more. I did film a normal video, because you guys like, I asked you guys, do you want a live stream or a normal video? And I gave you the option to vote on both. So yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. I will try and make more of these. I will clearly incorporate more alcohol into these, because you clearly have got a few more honest answers out of me. And if any of my friends are watching, please message me instead of like just engaging in this parasocial relationship with me and like forgetting about actually talking to me. Because if you guys want an insight as to how like we talk about parasocial relationships with like YouTubers and stuff, and your guys' interactions like with me, for example, but it's so intense that my own friends who see me constantly will watch my videos and then forget to interact with actual me because they've watched my videos. Like, that's how intense these kind of relationships are, if you want some like context. But yeah, I like subscribe and all that jazz. I hope you guys are doing alright in lockdown. As ever, leave any video recommendations. Yeah, I've said like, subscribe and all that jazz about 1,000,000 times now, but I will see you guys very, very soon, and I promise I will do more live streams, because we definitely all vibe them. really well. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Bye. How do I end the live stream?